So, today we are doing Disney rides and attractions, basically. Just covering what all we actually did.
Don't let her fool you, it's the same day.
I never said it wasn't. The fact that I haven't changed in the past so many episodes of this. Get your head out.
I don't wanna. No. I wanna go die.
You can't die just yet. We're not done. So, I have them broken down into each park that we visited. I'll get this out of the way. Epcot, we didn't ride a single blessed thing because we only did...
Epcot, we only went there for dinner and to get a picture in front of Spaceship Earth. I think that's my biggest regret is that we didn't do Epcot sooner in our trip so that we could have fully enjoyed it. Because I feel like that's the one that we were the most excited for outside of Magic Kingdom.
I would have swapped Animal Kingdom rest day. I would have done Animal Kingdom, got rid of that. Clearly Animal Kingdom was my least favorite park. Never stepping foot in there ever again. But we did do Hollywood Studios first, where we rode Toy Story Mania, did the Frozen sing-along.
It is so hard to get to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I don't know if we just complicated it or if this is how it is, but it was so difficult to find our way there.
Honestly.
We missed a dinner reservation there due to it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if we ever go back, I would like to see the Frozen sing-along again because it was great. It was great. I will not go back to Hollywood Studios. I'm not about to fight my way back there.
No, so we did Toy Story Mania, the Frozen sing-along, and the Indiana Jones stunt show. Those were the only 3 things we actually did outside of meeting Olaf, which we'll talk about him later. We got to Toy Story Mania maybe like 5 minutes to spare, and she beat me.
I did. I was a Justin Bieber.
I don't even remember what my score was. I was going to film on it, and then I remembered that's going to be super hard to control everything and still shoot the thing.
I don't like the way that it's
set up.
I don't like that you have to do the thing with the ball. Your arm hurts after a while, and it's like, I don't know if it was just our car or that it just needs refurbished or whatever, but it seemed like it wasn't always shooting whenever I pulled the string.
And yet somehow you beat me.
Yep.
I wonder if the Buzz Lightyear one's a little different than Magic Kingdom.
Maybe.
The Frozen Sing-Along show was amazing.
Yeah. We love Eric and Aria. I feel like they make the show, actually.
I'm glad we got those 2. Because there is another version, of course, as Relief. Mm-hmm. And they're not as good.
I love Eric. I love him. I love that. Okay. I'm the kind of person that really likes punny jokes, okay? He had this one at the very beginning, and whenever he was talking about the trolls.
Oh, yep.
And it's like, one of them stole my girlfriend in high school. Dwayne Johnson The Rock. And he couldn't even finish that statement without laughing, and I just love it.
There was a few of those where he couldn't just finish. He just laughed so much. Also, if you're there, most people pay attention to the screen that's playing the song. Watch them. They do the most hilarious dance moves ever.
Yeah. I think another cool thing, too, to pay attention to is if there's a point where you want to, at least during Let It Go, because they don't do anything during Let It Go. They only show Elsa on the screen. Watch the interpreter. I found myself watching them quite a bit. It was pretty cool, actually, to see how they would interpret it for the deaf.
One thing I did kind of have to laugh at the very beginning, it's like, don't eat, drink, or talk, but feel free to sing along at the top of your lungs.
Singing is encouraged.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to eat and drink, which is understandable, but you're not allowed to talk, but sure, why not sing?
And we did. You can't really hear me in the video, but you can definitely hear Sarah.
That's because I was the one holding the camera. And the only other thing we did there was the Indiana Jones stunt show, which you've only seen like one Indiana Jones movie.
A long time ago.
So she was a little bit confused.
I mean, it was cool for the stunts, but I feel like if you haven't watched the movies and you're not an Indiana Jones show, and I can speak from experience when I say you're not going to appreciate it to the fullest. Maybe use your fast pass on something else. But
speaking of fast passes, though, we were running out of things. We didn't really want to use it on any of the characters because the one character I would have used it on didn't have a fast pass available, and that was Chewbacca. And she didn't want to use it on Mickey or Minnie, which we had no Minnie sightings that whole entire time.
Nope.
Moving on to Animal Kingdom, we only did 2 things. What was our third one that we canceled? Do you remember?
Nemo.
Nemo? We canceled Nemo.
How dare you cancel Nemo?
It was a
He will
musical.
never find his dad ever now.
He'll live. He was in a nice
Dory
fish
will be
tank.
Lost.
Dory's always lost.
Dory's lost. Nemo can't find his dad. And everybody's stuck in a fish tank. And an evil creepy girl there is going to take them all away. And
So,
very bad for him.
so we did the safari. Which, how did you like the safari?
I didn't like the guy we got. He didn't seem. Whenever you watch it, and understandably so. I mean,
It varies per.
it varies
person.
per person that does it, but I feel like our tour guide, if you will, I don't feel like he was very into it. He was very factual, which I mean, that's what it's about. But I mean, you can have some fun with it.
Mhm.
And I just don't feel like he was really into it. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
We couldn't hardly see anything either.
Yeah.
Which I know the animals vary per time of day.
I was stuck in the
weather.
middle between Sarah and 2 other people, so I have no sight of anything really.
Sorry. We were gonna swap seats too, but they took off before we could. So that sucked. And then the only other thing that happened that day was Cali River Rapids, which I wasn't able to get on because Disney's not always fat friendly. But she did, so talk about that experience.
It was fun and it was wet.
Which is what we had needed. You did give me a giant wet head though, so that helped.
Yeah.
Again, Epcot we didn't do anything, which would have been the following
We met
day.
Russell.
We did, but there's a separate group of characters. And then lastly, Magic Kingdom definitely had the most, but that's because we were there twice.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, our very first ride ever in that park was It's a Small World. We were only there one other time for Tinkerbell.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was gonna say it was our very first ride ever at Disney, period. But Toy Story
Hollywood,
Mania was
yeah.
for first.
Though that's technically more of a game. But It's a Small World. We went there during the Halloween party, and I had agreed to this one. If the lines were short, I would go on it.
Hmm.
How did you find the ride?
I wasn't only doing it, so I didn't enjoy it.
Talk about the seats a little bit.
The seats were short for me.
And you're what, 5-0?
4 something. Last time I knew it was like 4'11".
So, I'm 6 foot, and if she had trouble with her legs probably going up to her chest, it didn't end well seat-wise. I mean, they weren't uncomfortable for the butt, it's just the legs. And I was in a dress. You were in a dress too, but it wasn't as bad. So, that was fun. We did the Prince Charming Regal Carousel, which is the official name, which is basically the merry-go-round, and neither of us wanted to get on a horse. So we shared the seat with a very pregnant lady and rode on the carousel.
I didn't even notice she was pregnant.
I heard her friend over talking, and she's like, "Oh, you sit down, you're the one pregnant." I say that it's a friend, but for all I know, it could have been a girlfriend. But either way, we shared it with a very pregnant lady. Apparently Tiffany didn't even notice was pregnant. That was the only rides we did during the Halloween party.
I wanna die and I don't wanna relive this.
The last day we went on the Mad Tea Party first. You spun and I almost tossed my breakfast.
Which I don't know how, because it took us a good 30-45 minutes to actually walk from Crystal Palace to Tea Party and then decide to get onto it.
And we did take photos in between. That's probably also part of the 30-some minutes. We also met Merida in between that. But either way. Under Under the Sea, the Little Mermaid ride.
My favorite part of that ride is whenever you first go into it and they tilt you back so you can look at the ceiling.
Yeah.
That was relaxing. But then they set you back.
It was kind of funny because I didn't think we would actually go through that early. We showed up 25 minutes early for our fast pass. And the guy still let us go through because there was hardly anyone there. And he's just like, yeah, you guys can go through, but just be on time for the other ones. And we were like, oh, we would have easily waited. But
Yeah.
he let us go, so thanks, guy whose name I don't remember. We did end up letting, what, maybe 6 or 7 people go in front of us? Because it didn't feel right. Next, Tiffany gets to talk about the mine train.
Tiffany doesn't want to talk about the mine train. Tiffany wants to die.
Well, we didn't actually ride that, so I can't really talk about it.
It was fun, but not worth a 2-hour wait. It said it was an hour wait, like 100 minutes whenever I got there. Which, it's the mine train, so I could justify an hour and a half wait.
Plus, it's still somewhat relatively new. Didn't it open in like 2012 or something?
Yeah, it's like the most popular thing that
Yeah.
you can go on right
It's
there.
the newest ride in Magic
So,
Kingdom.
I could tolerate that. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go on it. And then twice, we got messages that Dopey had spilled gems all over the track or whatever.
Oh no!
So twice, there were technical difficulties, which lengthened the time to about 2 hours.
That whole time I just sat and waited outside of the entrance.
And once you get up to the door, don't be deceived. You still got a lot of queue left.
And the last thing we did at Disney was the Enchanted Tales with Belle, which was a rip.
Hated it.
We went in under the impression that all of the people that went in would get photos. Truthfully, we should have probably seen that coming and or asked one of the cast members if we could. But we didn't know, so... I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. We just kind of had our hopes crushed that we
Didn't like it.
get.
It wasn't worth it anyway. I wouldn't waste a fast pass on it. It was
Yeah.
like 10 minutes.
True.
So, not worth a fast pass.
Seeing the magic mirror, though, that was cool.
That's about the only cool thing about it.
Yeah. But that is all we did ride and attraction wise, and Tiffany can pass out soon. Don't worry. Okay. Bye.